Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Pastor Bruce. Welcome to amvoice.net, One Man's Voice. Today is July 27, 2018. And today I want to talk to you about something Anne Hathaway had to say. And I kind of feel that the idiot who wrote her script for has no clue what he's talking about. And if Anne Hathaway didn't have somebody write it for her, then she has no clue what she's talking about. And that's white privilege. Now, white privilege, if you go back and study it, it is because the aristocrats of the 16th, 1700s had everything. And why did they have everything? Because a few smart people invested and grew and became multimillionaires, or in that time period, they could have had $500,000. And they were taken care of. And then when they died, everything was turned over, not to their children, but to the eldest living male adult. And he would take over the house, he would have all of the funds and everything that he needed. That's the privileged class. They don't have to work for it. Someone else earned it, and they're living off of the backs of someone else. Now, in a lot of cases, in England and, of course, in France and Europe, they learned how to take care of their finances so that they didn't spend everything, and they were able to maintain their homes and maintain their properties and keep servants, and the likes in the home and on the property. And that was fine. It was classes. The rich and the poor, two-class system. Socialism, two-class system, the rich and the poor. There's no middle class in socialism. There's no middle class in totalitarianism or fascism or communism. All it is a two-class system, the rich and the poor. So understand that when you come to America, we have a three-class system. The rich, the poor, and the middle class. And for generations, the middle class have done everything to support the poor people while the rich got richer. Yeah, they would dabble out a couple of pennies here and there. But for the most part, it was the middle class. But since the 1960s, the Democratic Party has been attacking the middle class. The NAFTA agreement that Clinton signed into effect sent a lot of our jobs overseas. And because they were sent overseas, we no longer had a need for a middle class. And under the Clinton administration, our middle class deteriorated. Nobody argued white privilege until now. And why? And yes, maybe you can say maybe the Trumps are white privilege, the children of the Trumps. But I don't think so, because President Trump made their kids work. When you open up your own business and you're running your own business and it's successful, it's because you know what you're doing and you do it. And so that may not be white privilege, as to where the Clintons, Chelsea had no clue about the news media, but she's making six figures and she's be given everything in the news media till she finally left. That's white privilege. But in this country, like I said, we don't subscribe to white privilege or black privilege or Latino privilege. You want something in this country, you've got to work for it. Now, Anne Hathaway, you got to wake up, darling, and smell the roses. Did you wake up one day, go into Hollywood, go into the studio and say, I want to be an actress, give me a script because I'm Anne Hathaway? No. I think you went to school, didn't you? I think you studied hard. I think you worked hard. I think you went in and you auditioned. That's not privileged. They selected you because they felt you could do a good job. And to a certain extent, you have done a good job. And you've earned the money. It wasn't given to you. You earned it. So don't say that you're privileged. Now, because you have millions of dollars, you can go out and buy whatever you want. That's not because you're privileged. It's because you earned that money to be able to do it. So these Democrats who are pushing white privilege are a joke. They really are. They have no clue what they're talking about. Like I said, go back to period movies and see what privilege was all about. We have cases, in some cases, we have trust fund babies, but not a whole lot. So understand, white privilege doesn't exist. Because if white privilege doesn't exist, black people like Maxine Waters couldn't live in a $4.4 million home. She wouldn't be making enough money to buy it. Nor the Latinos that live in multi-million dollar homes that are doing things that only whites can do, because why? They have the money to do it. Why? Because it was given to them? No. They worked for it, earned it, and now they have the ability to spend it. And so they spend it on frivolous things. I mean, you go out and buy a pair of jeans in Walmart or Fry's Foods or Target, you pay $20 to $50 for jeans. But the rich, like Anne Hathaway, who earned her money, can walk down Rodeo Drive in California and buy the same pair of jeans for $350 or $500. Why? Because she earned the right to do that, not because she's privileged. So understand, white privilege is a farce. And as long as we have blacks and Latinos and Japanese and Chinese and other races in this country that are living in multi-million-dollar homes, that have $500,000, $600,000 paying jobs, okay, then white privilege doesn't exist. The second topic I'd like to talk about, I just received my voter's guide, and on page 7, it has ballot types in the primary election. When I was growing up, I noticed this in the paperwork that my family received and then I later received when I got older. The ballot types are the Democrats, the Green Party, the Libertarian Party, the Republican Party. Growing up, there was also the Socialist Party and the Communist Party. We allowed everybody to come into the country. And if they were able to win the election, then they could be part of our government, as long as they were an American citizen. So now we're down to the Democrats, the Green, the Libertarian, and the Republican parties. Where's the socialist and the communist? Well, they realized running as a socialist and a communist, they couldn't win. Not in a democratic republic. Keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, up to the 60s, that we still had that influence that our forefathers, our World War II heroes, fought socialism, fought communism, fought totalitarianism, fought fascism. And we weren't about to have that in this country because they were not as good as the democratic republic that we live in. Now, only one other country had a democratic republic like we did, and that was Rome. And look, the only problem with us in Rome is Rome got greedy. They ran out there and they dominated the world. They took control of the world. They were going to be the world leaders. We're not like that. We're not going to dominate. We don't walk in and say, all right, this is now like the English did, would walk into places and say, all right, now this is part of England. You're a colony of England. We don't do that. We help smaller nations, but we don't go in and say, all right, you're coming under our wing. You're now our colony. We don't do that. But socialists do. Socialists do not want you to have freedom of speech. Why? Because if you have freedom of speech, you will talk up against socialism like you're supposed to. Socialism doesn't work. Even Maggie Thatcher, Prime Minister of England, knew it didn't work. And so she went to a democratic socialist party. using democracy and the capitalist and a form of capitalism. And she says, I can't remember the quote quite accurately. Uh, Socialism is fine until you run out of other people's money, which is a true statement. I'll give you everything you want under the sun until I don't have any money to buy it anymore. And then what you're going to do is you're going to turn against me because why? I can't give you what you want. We see that in relationships. It works in countries as well. So understand the Socialist Party, they left the ballot box. They couldn't win until the Democrats in the 1960s. After Kennedy was assassinated, what happened? The Democratic Party started to move left, and it kept moving left. Socialists started to get into the party and run as social democrats. And they were biding their time because why? The only way to conquer America is not by war, but from within. And so that's what they did. Now today you have 46 admitted socialists, not social democrats, socialists. 46 running for offices in our government to take control and become a socialist nation. And we have to stop that. But we can't do that because there are socialists that are teaching socialism is better than a democratic republic in our universities. Now, this is absurd. These professors are living in a democratic republic under a capitalist system, making $100,000 plus a year, and it's not even a full year. They only work like 10 months out of the year. Plus, they have to write books where they get copyrights and everything, and they make money off of books. But the thing of it is this. They're living in a democratic republic, and they're living under a capitalist system, and they're teaching American students that this is a bad system. Okay? I mean, this is the oxymoron of the Democratic Party. So understand, and now what they want to do is that some universities are sitting there, private and public, are sitting there saying, guarantee us a percentage of your future income and it'll pay for your schooling. That just made you a slave to the college. Who's running the college? Social democrats, socialists, communists are in there teaching you the wrong way to do things. And you're believing them. That's really sad, people. That socialism has grasped, and I have to say to the Republicans that are out there, you failed. You failed. Our Republican Congress has failed to defend us. The last time someone tried to defend us against communism or socialism was McCarthy. And his own party turned against him because of the power of the legal defense and the money that Hollywood had to make this man look like a fool. But he was right. He was right. And nobody will admit to it. Because if Republicans admit to it, then they have to admit to the fact that they turned their back on their own. Now we have a problem with communism and socialism in this country. It's time to change. It's time to get back to the Democratic Republic. It's important to understand that. Now, the third thing I want to talk about is Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi is recently on television talking about how after 2011, when with the terrorist attack, they created, I believe in 2004, H.R. 1, first bill to protect our country, protect our borders. And yet, every attack against putting up a wall is from the Democratic Party. Do you see how they talk out both sides of the mouth? Look at how good we are for the country, but we're going to screw you over. Democrats do not care about America. They are socialists. They want to destroy the American way of life. They want to knock us down, and that's exactly what Obama did. He talks about the lies that are in the administration. Look at the lies that were in his. There's not a smidgen of proof of anything that the IRS did wrong. Yes, there was. There's plenty of it. You can keep your doctor. You can keep your health care plan. Both lies. Benghazi was caused because of a video. Lie. Benghazi was a terrorist attack. But you can't have terrorist attack because he refuses to acknowledge that there are terrorists in the world. They're just misguided individuals. They cut off heads of American citizens. They cut off heads of Christians because of their hatred for both. But he wouldn't acknowledge it. Oh, they're the JV team. Well, under him, the JV team became the varsity team. And they went around the world terrorizing the world, killing people for their cause of taking over and allowing the Muslim faith and the Shiite Muslims to run this world. Donald Trump came in and said, we're not going to have this anymore. Have you heard about terrorist attacks? I don't think so. And we want to shut down our border so that terrorists, murderers, thieves, drug addicts, drug pushers can't get across to infiltrate our country to destroy us from within. And yet Nancy Pelosi refuses to acknowledge that she is for tearing down the wall and opening our borders. She wants those people to come into our country, and it will devastate our country. They're saying that by 2036, we'll have something like 27 million more people. I believe it is 27 or 35. I can't one of those numbers. More people from other countries in here. And our economy is not going to be able to survive. So what's going to happen is people are going to lose their jobs, and they're going to turn around, hire low-income wagers to do the job that you're doing right now. Do you want that? I think not. Our economy is growing. We are becoming stronger economically. And with Donald Trump, I don't like tariffs. But when they tack on a tariff to our products, it causes the cost of our products to go up. And when our products are more expensive, they're not bought overseas. So if they're not bought overseas, then what happens? They don't order more. What Donald Trump is trying to do is reduce tariffs completely to zero. No tariffs. Everybody's on an equal footing. But tariffs are nothing more than redistribution of wealth. That's all it is. Redistribution of wealth. Take from the American people, throw a tax on there, high tax, and we'll collect the money and put it in our pockets. And the American people can suffer. We don't care. So understand, tariffs are wrong. And when you have a trade imbalance like we do with China and the EU, it's because they have more tariffs on their goods than we have on ours. So understand, it's vitally important to know what we're doing out there when it comes to trying to fight tariffs. Nancy Pelosi needs to wake up and smell the roses. She needs to get in with the program. She needs actually to leave. It's time for her. It's time for McConnell. It's time for these ancient people who put systems into play that don't work anymore. And get rid of them and put new thinking people who believe in a social democracy and a capitalist system to come in and create new and inventive ways of making our nation better. Because as we make our nation better, we're forcing the world to make their nations better as well. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Pastor Bruce. Thank you for listening to One Man's Word. God bless each and every one of you. I hope you have a great day.